Colonel Steve Akley here at my place, the ABV Barrel Shop. We are in St. Louis, Missouri. Come by and see us. We're actually in the town of Arnold, which is a suburb of St. Louis, and we have a place where you can try before you buy. You can interact with your fellow bourbon fans. There's no place better to be than when this bar is filled with a bunch of bourbon fans. We're talking whiskey. We're drinking through some of the items on the wall that you see behind me. So I encourage you to be a part of that. Taste through some of the things that we got. We can give you a recommendation if you like. Maybe you see this, you're like, I don't know a lot of these brands. What do I do? We will help you find the thing that is right for you, and we'll let you taste through until you find the one that is correct for you. And again, that's what we do, try before you buy. Love it, so you don't have to live with it. So that's the thing. So many people make bad decisions, falling for hype or whatever it is, and then get a bottle they don't want. You can't fall for that here. We're going to let you try before you buy, so come by and see us. Got a story today. This is about Gary Hinegardner, and I think Gary Hinegardner, if he was known more nationally, I think would be like a national treasure type of guy. Like Freddie Johnson of Buffalo Trace is a national treasure. He's a guy that everything about him is just a good person. He inspires a lot of people. And, Jimmy Russell, I think, would be the other person in the bourbon industry. Maybe to some degree Fred Noe too. There's some people that transcend the world of bourbon and are almost like these national treasures. Outside of bourbon, you get into somebody like a Dolly Parton, just like a good person, whether or not you like her music. I think she's a very positive natured person. She does a lot of good work for charities and things like that. She creates a lot of jobs by, with theme park and all kinds of stuff. So, just somebody like that. And I think Gary is that sort of, in general, a very good person. And while he may not be a national treasure, he's certainly a local one. And, in St. Louis, especially on the whiskey scene, he's made big differences here in all the great things that he does. I have all the respect in the world for Gary. I think he's a great guy. He's a personal friend. He's been incredibly good to me with the media company that I've got, and really enjoy that guy a lot. And I've been friends with him for a long time, like 10 years now. And it's been kind of fun the last, month or so to see him get a little bit of exposure on a national level from that video that Bruzel did about him. So I thought that was pretty cool for Bruzel to profile Gary like that. And I noticed more people have been coming in the door at this place and asking about Gary or seeing if we had any of his products and stuff like that. And I think that's awesome. Because I've known Gary for so long, people will come to me that know me and know that I know Gary and ask questions. And recently, he had this photo that appeared on his Facebook page of Gary naked out in the snow. And of course, we've had a big snowstorm. As I record this video, there's still snow out on the streets and maybe even the parking lots or at the end of my driveway, perhaps, maybe. I tried my best, but it's frozen solid now. So I have this little ice rink right at the end of my driveway. So Gary had this picture where he was just naked. There was no caption or anything. It's just Gary naked drinking whiskey. Things strategically covered, like this little snowdrift covers certain things and it's cut off, above. You can see anything down here. And then you do see like his legs in the photo. So I was like, it looks like he's naked. People came to me. The first one was Kathy Cool. Says, did you see this photo, Gary? And I'm like, what? And I was like, I don't know anything about it. She's like, what do you think he's doing? And then all these things go through your head. Is he 80? He just doesn't care anymore? Is this just done as a promotional thing? Is Gary getting ready to enter a new stage in his life where he's an exhibitionist? I don't know what's going on. I have no idea what's happening with this thing. And more people start asking me about it. I thought, you know what? I'm good friends with Gary. I'm going to call Gary. And of course, you call Gary and it's always a long conversation. I love the guy, but he's very verbose. He talks. Gary's a talker. And something like going to the grocery store has to be torturous, like for his wife with him, because Gary talks to everybody. I could see him, walking in the door and seeing a customer, to having a conversation, and going down the fruit and vegetables aisles and talking to people, and asking questions. But this is certainly shocking, that photo, because if you think of Gary, he's almost like this. He's like a walking logo for his company, right? I mean, look, here's I'll put up a photo here of Gary, and he kind of looks pretty consistent. He's always got a hat on, and it's usually a wood hat. That's his brand. Sometimes it's like a baseball hat if it's, he's out in a cornfield or something like that. And then, he's got suspenders on typically. He wears a corn vest. If you see the vest, that's a corn vest. It's got secret pockets in there and stuff where he has all this corn in there where he can show you, heirloom corn. And he's just a walking character. The closest person I can see that in my mind is like Colonel Sanders. Colonel Sanders to me was the ultimate person that utilized their personality, everything about them to become a brand. That's what Gary is with Woodhead. Where does Woodhead end and Gary begin? I don't know. It's just one and the same. He walks around as a logo for the company. But then this new look, I was like, what's going on? So I thought, I know Gary. I'm going to call him and see. Well, of course, it goes off the rails. Gary, of course, starts talking. I said, first of all, he starts talking about a bunch of other stuff. I can't even get into my first. I call Gary, and he just starts talking. Is he waiting for the phone to ring, and then he picks up? So I talked with Gary probably 25 minutes before I got into why I had called. So then finally he says, well, why did you call? And I said, well, I want to know about that picture out on Facebook. Well, then he goes into this whole thing of, it's not what you think it is. That was taken like 5 or 7 years ago or something. And it was like a response. He says people ask him, what's the best temperature to drink Woodhead at? I guess wanting to know if they should add ice in it or whatever, or keep it in the freezer or whatever. And so he decided to do after a snowstorm many years ago, he decided to do this photo and then caption it. People ask how I like to drink my whiskey. I like to drink it a little chilled. And that was, and that's kind of a funny picture, right? That's a good marketing thing. But with this time, they didn't put that caption under there. So it's just a picture of Gary naked drinking in the snow during a time when it had snowed a lot. So everyone assumes it's just happening right now. Gary's walking around his distillery out back naked, drinking whiskey. And so I asked him about that, and he tells me all that. And then he thinks I'm calling to maybe get some insight on how to do this myself. I think he starts mentoring me on getting this naked photo. And, what you want to do, you need to have people look at it so you don't get so much. He's like, I showed my family and there was too much crack on a couple of photos, and we had to cut it a certain way and all. I'm acting like I'm taking notes because he's mentoring me and I want to be nice and ass crack showing. And then he's like, and the dangerous part is, here's where the bad part is. When your buttocks hit that bench, it's not bad. You're going to be okay. It's when the balls hit. And I'm just losing it. In my mind, I'm thinking, oh my God. And then, of course, I'm acting like I'm taking notes. Balls are the problem. And, and so he's like, here's what you want to do with this photo. And, I assume Gary's been checking my social media to see if I have my nude photo out there, but I'm not going to do one. I just called to see why he did it. It kind of made sense. I thought it was kind of funny, and I do think it kind of went off the rails with that. But it's just Gary. Gary's a talker, and when I asked about that, I got the full story about the photo, and it was fun. It's just Gary is awesome, and love having that guy around and being part of what we're doing here in the St. Louis area. Hopefully you'll come by and see him when you're in St. Louis, and then come by and see me.